Hi friends, happy Wednesday. Hopefully you are having a great day, whether you're watching this recording or jumping on live. I am just gonna drink my pre here for a second. My favorite is doing live videos while drinking pre. I was never really a coffee girl, so having pre is like the best wake-up call ever. But I hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are. Hopefully you're staying warm if you're a little cold. Today I have the honor. Hey, Chels. Hey, Leah. I have the honor of speaking to you about a topic that I feel like is something I don't always want you to have to deal with, but you're going to have to deal with it. And it's something that if you're not prepared for it, could really be detrimental in this business. And I want you guys to know that 9 out of 10 days in this business are going to be rainbows and butterflies, and you're going to love it. You're going to be so fired up. But there's going to be days that really are really frustrating, and that's really the only way to know that it's coming. And so I get to talk to you about how to be a bulletproof recruiter so that you are always bringing in more people that oh yeah, the photos in the background, all my favorite people besides you guys need your own little plaque right here. We got to get on that. But bulletproof recruiting, because you always need to make sure that you are obviously bringing in more people. Because if you start relying on the people that you think are going to be great recruiters, sometimes can really be detrimental. And I'll talk to you about my story with this, because I was somebody who did that. Of course, I got an ice cube in that stuff. But I want you guys to know, and I want to start this off by saying, recruiting is not a seasonal topic. It's not something that comes in waves and you change through the seasons. It's a climate. You need to be making sure that you are bringing in people all times of the month. And, you know, what I used to do in the business is that I would get to my new coaches, I would sign them up in the beginning of the month, and I would coast and I would try to prepare for the next month. Whereas that's really not the way to do this business, because if you're holding people or you're trying to bank on these people being your 3 challenge pack sales, you're doing this business wrong. Because what's going to happen, and you probably have already experienced this, is that those coaches either lose steam, they hear something hesitant, so they don't want to sign up. Maybe they get a flat tire, and that's where their, income goes. And so I started looking at, this is something we need to look at as a climate. It is something we need to be doing at all times. It is the general consensus of how to grow this business. You have to be recruiting every single week in order to be a bulletproof recruiter. And I know that sounds really intimidating, but we're going to talk to you kind of about how to manage these tough situations that come at you. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and drop them. Because I know there's a little bit of a lag whenever I go live. But we're going to talk first about coaches who go inactive. And this is something that I feel like most of my coaches struggle with, especially pushing to diamond, because you get your 8 coaches and then someone goes inactive, and then you sign another coach and then someone else goes inactive. And it's so frustrating because you feel like you're just spinning your wheels trying to sign people up, and then they go inactive, and it's just this constant battle of how are we going to hit diamond if no one can stay active. And so 8 coaches really, guys, is not a stable diamond. It's not. It's unfortunately not, because people are going to have things come up. And so 6 to 8 of these people are usually discount coaches. And if you want to put yourself in a discount coach option, think about that. That's $115, or even if you're just doing 50 PV, that's still $70 a month on things that you might try to ration if you are on a budget. And so you need to be starting to think, how can I keep these people active so that I don't need to bank on them for their rank? And so one of the things that I try to do with my inactive coaches is do this thing, and one of my coaches designed this, so I can't take credit for it, but it's called monthly exclusives. And so monthly exclusives, what she does is she puts, she actually has a separate group page for her discount coaches. She calls them VIP members, but my coaches are all in the same group. But what you can do is it's a monthly exclusive, and each month you have featured 50 PV of product. So whether it's Recover or it's Hydrate and Energize, maybe it's the 3-day refresh plus Shakeology, 1 month it's Beach Bars, boom, you just have 4 months of monthly exclusives. And what you do is you showcase these things as like the cover photo, and all month long you are pouring in information about how great these products are. And so the cool thing is that these products are something that are going to obviously get them active, but it's also stuff that they should really be trying. Because, for example, maybe somebody doesn't really love Recover. Maybe for me, I can't even drink Recover. So if someone were to tell me, here, you should try to drink Recover, and I'm completely dairy intolerant, I need to have something else. And so if they offer beach bars to me, again, I can't have those. So if someone offered me Hydrate and Energize, I'm all about it. 3-day refresh, all about it, because I can have those things. And so it's a cool thing to showcase these different programs and products. And so what you do with this monthly exclusive is everyone who orders that product for that month, you put them in a drawing and you give away something. So maybe it's a gift card, maybe it's a t-shirt, maybe it's a tank top, maybe it's a PD book, whatever you want to do with your coaches, but whoever gets active for that month for that product is a monthly exclusive earner. And so you could do it where every person who purchases gets a $5 Starbucks gift card and give a prize to everyone if you only have a couple people to work with, or you do a bigger prize for everyone who does order. And so if you guys are thinking for this month, for February 19th, we all know Fruit Punch Energize is coming out. I'm going to be buying a ridiculous amount of that stuff. But the cool thing is that you could do 50 PV including that. That could be your monthly exclusive. And so everyone who orders between February 19th and February 25th gets entered in to win a $20 Amazon gift card. So it gets them active without you just messaging them and basically begging them to do so. Another thing that I try to do is be very upfront with how they affect you. And I feel like I was always really shy about this topic because I didn't want people to feel like I was doing this selfishly. But you have to understand that some people come into this business for you. They come into this business to be a part of your lifestyle. And so knowing that they can affect you and your rank actually gets people active. When we were in 5-star diamond qualifications 2 falls ago, I had a girl that religiously got active since then till now because she knew that her active status affected my rank in quals. That was a year and a half ago, and she still to this day messages me and she says, hey, Sammy, I can't afford Shakeology. What, can I get for that 50 PV to keep myself active for you? She still does that, and if I wouldn't have been able to tell her how she affects me, she wouldn't have ever done that. And you don't need to go out there and be like, hey, you need to get active for me. You can do it very nicely and just say, hey, since you're a coach on my team, your status does affect me. Is there any way we can get you 50 PV so that, we can keep this qualification as a team? Whether you're pushing for diamond or star diamond, their status matters. Another thing is to give them samples. Obviously, you guys probably do this, but people are very hesitant about buying things. And so they don't always want to invest $60 into something that they're not really sure they're going to use. Like $60 may not be in their budget. So if you send them 1 beach bar, 1 packet of Energize, 1 packet of Hydrate. I did this with my new coaches. It was like my new coach startup for my birthday month. And it was so amazing to see all of those people have reoccurring orders because they all got to finally try it. And even if they can afford it, maybe they just weren't even sure they wanted it. Now they want it. So another thing that I like to do with these people is do incentives for X amount of months being active. So you know how we have, for example, the Shakeology 3 years in a row, you get the golden cup or whatever. You can do that with people being active. So maybe, hey girl, maybe you want to do for 3 months in a row for you getting 50 PV, you get a $15 Amazon gift card. For 5 months in a row, you get upgraded to the tank top. For 7 months in a row, like it's a reward system so that they stay active for you. And again, people love free things. And yes, it's an investment, but again, it's an incentive plus it's a write-off. So you should be doing things because the first 2 years of my business, I spent a lot of money on this stuff and I don't regret any bit of it. And then I have to say this, do not rely on active coaches. You have to keep recruiting, guys. If I relied on my inactive coaches pushing to diamond, it would have probably taken me 3 to 4 months extra in order to do so. And, even to this day, I was going to count before this call, but of course I just remembered it right now, of how many inactive coaches I have. I have approximately 250 coaches, and I would say about 50 to 75 of them are inactive. So that's a lot of people that I could be banking on, hoping, wishing, wondering, expecting, and it would stress me out to just sit there and nag and hope. And so that's where this bulletproof recruiting concept comes into play, because if you are always bringing in new people, you're not going to have to rely on Sarah, who never likes to answer your messages, and you've bugged her 17 times, and now you feel like you're just pestering her to get active, and you have 7 messages in a row that she's not answering. Like, you guys know. And so I started thinking, okay, so if I can replace Sarah, maybe that will ease the tension. Maybe she will get active anyway. Maybe she will quit and I'll have an answer. Like, something's going to happen, but only if I continue to keep recruiting and she isn't someone I'm relying on. So next category, people who want to work but don't. I need to sip Energize for this one. We all have those people, guys. We all have those people, okay? I have a coach that has been a coach for as long as I have been. And I love her. I love her so much. She has so much potential. She is still not diamond, okay? You can only do so much. You can only do so much. You hit emerald. Your coach didn't make you hit emerald. You hit emerald. When you hit diamond, you are going to do that, and your coach guided you. And so for so long, I told my sister, like, okay, so who are we going to help me hit emerald? Like, who can I sign up? And I started waiting for her to help me find this 2 magical people to help me hit emerald. And I don't know why I didn't have this realization sooner, but until I decided to do it, it was never going to happen. So you have to take that concept and go to your coaches too, because if they're not sitting there doing the work, there's a reason, there's a disconnect. It's not you, it's them. Like, we're breaking up here as a relationship. It's not me, it's you. And so when I decided to go all in, not Jamie making me, when I decided to, there's been 43 months in a row that I've hit Success Club without Jamie making me hit Success Club. Okay? Your people will do it if they need to do it. I decided to do that while in school full-time, while in my master's, while writing a thesis, with Des and the family, with my job. Like, I did that. And Jamie didn't do that. She gave me the tools, but you can't make the, what is it, the horse drink the water or whatever it is, the camel, I don't know. It's either they aren't the person or it's not the right time. And so you have to remember that you need to show them what's possible, and you need to be the leader that they need. And if you're being that leader and you're hitting high Success Club, and I'm not saying you need to be hitting 50. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to be setting the example for them with probably Success Club 10 and not just one new coach. Because, they always say this, but like, your coaches will do half of what you do. I'm going to even probably take that further and say sometimes your coaches do 1/4 of what you do. So if you're barely hitting Success Club 5 and one new coach, they're looking at you like this unicorn, and they're going to say, okay, well, if I hit SC2, we're good here. And it's like, all right, that's not really what you want either. So you need to be that leader. And once you're that leader, they have the tools. And so, just making sure I'm missing that last part here. But yeah, show them what's possible, but you can't do it for them. I did that for so long, and I did one-on-one calls for an hour and a half with these people that weren't hitting Success Club, because I thought, maybe they just need that extra push. And I did it, and I did it, and I did it, and I spread myself so thin, hoping and pushing these people because I saw more potential in them than they saw in themselves. And that's what it comes down to, guys. That's what it comes down to. It is not your bad leadership. It is not anything else except for the fact that you probably believe in them more than they do, and you have to accept that that just might not be the person, or that just might not be their time. But say they're there, they're interested in working, they're just not doing the rest of it, and they're still the right person. What I want you guys to do is I want you to make sure you hit every love language. And I think this concept, like, I probably think about the love languages more with my coaches than even Adam, and I love Adam. But guys, your coaches are motivated by so many different things. At one point I had 4 diamonds, and all 4 of them had a different love language, and it never occurred to me until I read the book. It was mind-blowing for me because you started looking at these people, words of affirmation. One of my top coaches, if I send her a long text about how amazing she's doing, she is on cloud freaking 9. She doesn't need anything else in the world except for that text. Another one is such an acts of service person. And when I ran a free group or a coaching preview with her, or I showed her what she was supposed to be doing, oh man, she freaking flew. One person was quality time. She just wanted to get on a Zoom call and she wanted to hang out. And whether we talked business or we talked about our relationships, she didn't care. But the minute she got off that call, man, she was flying high. Another one of my coaches was very much a physical touch person, and she wanted to see me and hang out with me. She wanted to go to the events. She wanted to hug me. She wanted to just do all the touchy-feely things that friends do. And then, no one was really gifts, but everyone was motivated by gifts. So it was kind of like a secondary love language. And so you need to make sure you're hitting all of them. And that's kind of where all of those different parts come into play. If you're offering to run these groups of people, you're setting up calls, you are giving out incentives, you are shouting out recognition, and you're planning some type of trip, whether it's summit or a trip, you're doing everything you need to do. You're doing the right things. And, now what I do, instead of doing these one-on-one chats for an hour and a half with these people that aren't really working the business, I started doing open chats. So every week I'm on my Zoom call or whatever for an hour. And sometimes it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I switch the day so they have no excuse that work is in the play or school or any type of other excuse. It is always at least one day, I would imagine, unless you strictly work second shift, that they're able to jump on. And it's 1 hour. They can come on for 5 minutes. The whole hour, they get on, they chat. I do it all the time. And it's very interesting to see who steps up, but it's also really great for me to see who steps up. It's not just for them. It's also for me because I want to see who's putting in the extra time. If somebody's sitting there complaining about, I can't find anybody, I'm really struggling, I can't hit Success Club, everyone says no, but I'm consistently holding these open chats, I'm running groups, I'm offering them to go in my mentorships, and they're not doing the work. Girlfriend, you bless and release those people. I give you permission to bless and release them. I have a coach, and again, love her, 4 coaches. She was getting so close to Diamond. And she did this to me time and time again, where she would complain and complain and complain. Every time I talked to her, it was a complaint about something. And so I started trying to switch around my schedule to accommodate her. She was getting projected inactive because she had a return. She decided Beachbody didn't help. So I was like, okay, I'll help. I got on my Diamond line. I got her a form to fill out. All she had to do was fill out the form, and they would honor this return that she would get active again. She didn't fill out the form. I blessed and released. I'm done. You can't handhold in this business because what's going to happen is you're going to handhold for so long. You're going to have other coaches come in that are ready for your time, and you can't handhold those people, and then they really fall off. And all that time you spent handholding was a waste of your time. And I'm not saying to bless and release early, but if you're already thinking of someone in your head that you have just tried to handhold for too long, I give you permission to find more bulletproof recruiters and just keep finding more people, because sometimes that friendly competition of a new rock star coming in motivates them. Sometimes it's their own realization that you're going to be running without them. Sometimes it's just timing, and sometimes it's just not the right person. So yes, I give you permission to let them go if you're at that point, but again, do all you can, and at that point, that's their decision. All right, next category, coaches who have built a business and then quit. So it kind of comes back to the girl I was just talking to you about, but I was in a room at Summit, I think it was last year or the year before. I need to turn this light down. It's always like, when I get on start sweating. I could never be a teacher, guys, only for the sense that I would probably be just dripping in sweat because I get so excited about things. But I love this kind of shit. So another thing. I was in a room and Lindsay Matway, we were all 2-star diamond and above coaches. And she said, how many of you have had a diamond coach quit? And almost everyone shot their hand up. And I thought I was one of the only people that was going to be doing that. So she said, how many have 2? Shot my hand up. less people, still a lot. And at this point, my third diamond coach hadn't quit yet. And now I could raise my hand and say my third diamond coach quit. I have 3 diamond coaches quit, while Lindsay Matway is a superstar 4 coach, one of my faves in the business. She said she had like 36 diamond coaches quit. And so this stuff happens, and it is devastating. And it is something that turns your business into a little tornado for a hot second. And so when my first diamond coach quit, I was actually at Summit. I walked the stage as a 1-star diamond coach because of her. And she never told me. She wasn't at Summit. I got home from my hotel room, got a coach cancellation email. Told me 3 days later, hey, sorry I put that cancellation through. I'm going through some stuff. Checked back in. Never told me what that was. Never really. And then she proceeded to went on social media and bash me as a person. Next diamond coach quit. She was a little bit younger than me, just wasn't really ready for the business, and fizzled her business out slowly. Next diamond coach quit, kind of the same thing, but I became friends with all of these people. You have to remember that the more your business builders become, you become best friends with these people, and you give them your time, your effort, your income, your love. And the love part is probably the hardest part because, again, you believed in them more than they believed in themselves. And I want you guys to think about the fact that, Chelsea and Rob have went through this as well with an even higher coach that quit the business as a multi-star diamond. And I want you guys to think about where Lindsay would be, Chelsea and Rob would be, and I would be if we stopped because of what they decided to do. And I kept thinking about that during those times because it was something it started to make you question what you do. Like whether you have a coach quit, an emerald quit, a diamond quit, a star diamond quit, for that split second, or maybe a little bit longer, you start thinking, what did I do wrong? And it's not always you. 99% of the time, it's not you. And that's really hard because what happens is that as coaches, we take everyone's love onto ourselves. We get so excited for the good things in this business, but then when bad things happen, we take that upon ourselves as well. And you have to remove yourself from that feeling as fast as you can. And so I kept thinking during that first couple diamond coaches quitting is like, because I almost quit. I almost quit and threw in the towel, and it was probably one of the lowest parts of my business. And I remember talking to Adam about it, and I was just like, I can't talk to Jamie about this, but I just don't know if I can do this. And he was like, well, why let these 2 people dictate the rest of your future? Why let these 2 people dictate the next 2 people that could really change your life? And for someone who's not in Beachbody, I looked at him and I was like, you're right. I've been so emotionally attached to what they decided to do that I couldn't even think about the future. And the crazy thing is, guys, my next 2 diamonds are 2 of my best friends. I was in one of her weddings, and the other one is someone that is now an elite coach and someone I just can't even fathom my life without. I was going to let these 2 girls' opinions of Beachbody, of what they decided to do and quit, take away from what I could have impacted in my whole life. And so I'm sure you've had a coach cancellation. I give you permission to take that hour, maybe a day if they're a diamond, and just reflect. Reflect on what you can get. Like you can get something out of it. You can learn from this circumstance. But the next day, man, you're back in the game. You are back in the game. Because if you let this, and I think about this with anxiety, if any of you guys suffer with anxiety, I will let it win for an hour, maybe a day at max, but I'm not freaking letting that the next day dictate the rest of my week. No, that's what it wants to do. That's what these coaches want to do. They want to affect you. And you have so many other people that need your help. And if you were in a burning building and one person walked out of the building and there was one more person in the building, would you just leave them? No, you'd go help them. So go help more people. And so I want you to be open with your team about when you're feeling this way, but I don't want you to dwell on it because it's going to happen. But being relatable to them is very important because when I got really emotional when these diamond coaches quit, I talked to my team about that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm really struggling, but here's my plan of action to combat back, so that when they go through that, they know they can come to you because you're relatable, and they know that your plan of action is what their plan of action is going to be. But if you just sit here and complain and complain and complain, what do you think they're going to do when they get a coach cancellation? You're the leader. You have to dictate what they're going to do in the future. And then one more thing that I did during this circumstance is, what happened was I had or more than that. I probably had like 5 coach cancellation in a matter of 48 hours, and nobody told me they were quitting. And this happened a couple months ago, and it was so hard when every time I was scared to open my email, because it was just like everyone was canceling. And so I posted this in my PS page, and it was a little bit longer but I took like the main gist, and I was very upfront, and it was a little graphic I made in WordSwag. It was bright yellow, so they couldn't miss it. It said, please read. And so this was a paragraph that I added in there, and I said, I don't think everyone understands that when I onboard coaches, it's not just a business decision. I onboard coaches with the intention that I'm investing my heart, my passion, and my hope into these people. I don't onboard just to help them build sorry, there's like all these words. I don't onboard just to help them build a business. I onboard because I believe that we can genuinely become good friends and potentially become family like sisters. When people quit Beachbody, whether it's financial, emotional, etc., it's just as hard, if not harder, for their upline. If you don't tell us why, we assume it's our fault. We assume we aren't doing our job. We can't be proactive in our emotions or our businesses. You affect us in ways beyond just rank. So what I asked in this little blurb in my PS page, and I had great responses, is that I was like, please talk to me before you put that coach cancellation in. Please be upfront with me when you are deciding to quit, and I will respect your decision no matter what. But immediately when I get that email, I assume it's my fault. And maybe it is my fault, but I need to know it's my fault before you do anything. And obviously it's not usually our fault. Maybe it's finances and things like that. The next 5 people who quit once I posted this all messaged me long things about, you've changed my life, you've done amazing things, I'm just at a place in my life that I can't do this, I will be back. It was a totally different experience. And I will just continue to repost this every few months. And if one of you guys remind me, I can post the actual full of it, the full thing in the page. But it was very nice for me and my little psyche to just know that they know I care. Because I think a lot of people sign up as coaches, whether they plan on building a business or not, and when they put their coach cancellation in, they have no idea that it affects us. They have no idea. They might think it affects financially, but they have no idea that we look at this business like it is our life. It is something that we invest in emotionally, financially, physically. I mean, we care so much about Beachbody, and they have no idea that they are affecting us in so many ways. And so that was really kind of my last, if and when you quit, please be upfront with me. And it's been amazing. And then, so yeah, and last little thought on this, guys, is I always try to remind myself of this, is the day before I got that coach cancellation of my diamond, my emerald, my regular coach, my discount coach, I wasn't going to quit. I was going to go do this business. I loved this business. So why did that email change how I was going to change my life? And so I always go back to that thought that 5 minutes before I got that email, I was not going to do this. So why am I starting to think I'm going to do this? Don't let the opinions of sheep dictate how a lion lives its life. Not that these people are sheep, but I always think about that quote, but it's people are going to love themselves the way they need to love themselves. And you shouldn't be affected by the way they love themselves. You need to make sure that you love on them, but not love for them. And so the last little thing here, guys, before I wrap this up and then I'll answer any questions, is that my biggest regret in this business, and something that I wish I could go back and do over, is micromanaging my coaches. I am such a control freak. I am somebody that wants to do all the things for everyone. I've struggled with that my whole life, and this business was no joke. And so when I see people who are struggling to hit Success Club or struggling to post on social media, I'm like, all right, send me every single day you're going to do this, and send me every reach out you do and all this stuff. And it was like I was micromanaging so hard that I didn't really know how to lead them. And I was drinking the water for them, and they need to drink it themselves. And so you can't wait for their success. You can't be like, okay, you and you are going to hit Emerald, I'm going to hit Diamond because of that, and then you and you are probably going to hit 2-star. Like, it doesn't work that way. If I was going to do that, I would have probably never hit Diamond. And you have to keep going. If you want a 10X team, you got to be a 10X coach. You got to recruit like a 10X coach. You got to invite like a 10X coach. You can't have a 10X team with a 5% effort. You can't have it with the current effort. Like, you got to go 10X to get 10X, and it's not going to be immediate, but it's going to be something that's going to compound over time. So no more Success Club 5 and one new coach. Like, you got to go into what you think a 10X coach is. And I started looking at whatever I had for the goal for the month, whether it was Success Club 5, 10, 50, I don't know, whatever that goal was. I started looking at it as my week. That was my goal for the week. That was how I started 10Xing my business, because I was going to start trying to beat the clock. So say your goal every month is SC10 and 3 new coaches. Well, it's a little scary, but try to make that your week goal, because if you fall short, you might hit Success Club. That's a pretty freaking great win. Why shoot for Premier if you can shoot for Elite? And if you fell short, you hit Premier. Like, shoot for the stars like a 10X coach would. You don't see Chelsea and Rob being like, all right, so we're going to shoot for 8-star. No, they were like, let's go superstar and go beyond that. Like, that's what the leaders you want. You want people that are just going to be dreaming so big that they're shooting for the sky. So be a 10X team and you'll get a 10X team. And then, the last thing here is, when I really started 10Xing everything in my business and I started shooting for the stars, it was because I changed. And this is probably the first team call I ever did, and I still go back to it. It was about changing from a want in this business. I want to hit Diamond. I want to go full time. I want to help Adam with his student loans, to a need. I needed Beachbody because I physically needed it. I needed it for my student loans. I needed it for my anxiety. I needed it for my own self-love. I needed Beachbody. And so if you're thinking of your why, this like concept of a why, and your drive isn't a need, and you don't wake up in the morning thinking about it, and you don't wake up early in the morning thinking about it, or fitting it into every pocket of time, and you're sitting there watching Netflix, you probably haven't found your true why yet. And so if you start thinking of like why you need Beachbody, your family, your financial, there's so many different things out there, but like, why do you need Beachbody? And that's what you plaster down, where it is something that just consumes you with love and excitement. That's the need in your business that you're going to start 10Xing. And if you don't feel that yet, it's okay. It will come. At one point, you will have this realization, and that's what happened to me. So, yeah, Rob, I love that. You can't be a Division I athlete with a Division II attitude. So I'm going to go up here and see if there's any questions. How do you recruit when you're in the middle of a challenge group? What is a good idea frame to invite to? So honestly, I always just have something to invite to. So maybe if you're in the middle of a challenge group and you're not trying to invite to that one, maybe you have a coaching preview, maybe you have a free group, always have something to invite to. I started making my challenge group of an ongoing challenge group, and every week I just have a thread, so that because I was getting annoyed with the notifications every day. And so people just jump in. Like, I just call them chapters instead of days of the week or whatever. So it's like the week 1 of the year was chapter 1, chapter 2. And so some people jump in on chapter 6 and some people jump in on chapter 3, and that's where their challenge is, so that I can consistently always invite to my challenge group, because they're just going to be jumping in on their chapter, and that's what part of the book they're on. And so if you always have something to invite to, it's not going to feel so forced, because if you're waiting until March 3rd to invite, you're going to be like, all right, so I should probably start inviting in like a week. But now you just wasted a whole week. Like, start now. and put a coaching preview on the schedule this weekend. That's what I do when I'm like, oh wow, I don't have anything for a week. All right, boom, coaching preview, boom, free group. Something that when I'm talking in a conversation, I can get people in, because if you wait too long, we all know what happens when people are complacent and then they don't sign up at all. One thread for all the check-ins and no one can post but you. So essentially what I do is I will do, like, I think this week is chapter 7. I don't know. So it's like Monday through Sunday, they post all their workouts on this thread. They all just check in as they go throughout the week. And then this week, the prize is whoever is most encouraging on other people's posts gets a gift card. So I do about one incentive a week. It might be really small, might be really big, but it's really cool to watch them, because like the minute I posted that, they all started commenting on each other's stuff, and it was really cool to see the dynamics come in. And then one of my diamond coaches is probably the best I've ever seen at challenge groups. Like, she has ridiculous challenge groups, and she started doing this concept of 100. And so what they did was they started so for example, it'll be like 100 bottles of water. And so she challenges her girls to comment 100 bottles of water once they finish 1, 2, 3, 4. And they all collaborate to get to 100 bottles of water by, we'll say you get 2 days to do this. And so they're all chugging, and then she will give away a Lululemon gift card. So number 100, or she'll do a random person that filled out a water bottle. So every time you check in, you get an entry. And it was really cool to start seeing the collaboration. So I started taking this concept with water, with healthy meals, with workouts, with vegetables. I did like a vegetable one where we got to 100 servings of vegetables, because who struggles with vegetables? And so like randomly I'll do a different thread, about one a week. So there ends up being like 2 different threads, and I'll go live throughout the week. But I just felt like if I had a daily check-in, I ran out of content. Plus the people, I don't know, I just felt like notifications were kind of crazy. So I just started breaking things down a little bit. Instagram, short girl fitness. Most unoriginal Instagram handle. I actually kept it private for the first week as a coach, and this is my sister for you. I told her, I'm probably not going to really do this coaching thing, but I have an Instagram, don't tell anybody. So naturally she posted on Facebook, and I had to go public. So that was the start of my journey. But I think that is all the questions. But if you guys have any other questions, feel free to just tag me so I get the notification. And then I actually remember this for once, but I'll go post the please read thing that I put in my team page for my girls in your group. But again, if you have any other questions, just tag me. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. Great Valentine's Day tomorrow. Got our gals, Galentine's Day, all our people. Have a great day. Love you guys, and we will chat soon.